Appreciate y'all coming today. I know you got stuff to be doing. A big day for us. I was really, really pleased with the group that the staff put together. It's been a long process. We haven't really taken a breath since the season started. From bowl game to now has been a lot of hard work to hang on to guys that we had committed and honestly close out guys that we were battling on. I think you can look at the signing class and find out real quick that we had a huge need at the offensive line position. It's rarely that you have 7 guys graduate from one group and 5 starters off that group, and so we knew this problem was coming up. How to address it and how to effectively go out and repair, the hole that was going to be created was a huge challenge. And I have to say, looking at what we've done and who we've got signed and committed to be here for us, I think our staff did a phenomenal job. And it's a group effort. A lot of people involved to get that done. Not just Coach Rudolph, the O-line coach, not just an area coach. Really a collective effort to bring in a massive amount of size and power and needs to fit us. Similar issues at safety, and I think defensive tackle was another key concern. And you look at what we did in the back end at safety with some quality players there, speed, guys with range, guys that have played at high levels and will be coming to us. And then you take a guy like Waylon Roberson out of the mix. That's hard to replace. But I think we've, he and Jake Swally both graduate. I really like what we've done to bring in some veteran guys in those 2 spots too. So all in all, he mentioned 12 different states, not by design, really just by where we had to go to get them. We continue to have to cover a very large area to meet the needs that we have. It's weird and kind of unique again this year. 7 guys that are in this class were already here on campus in August. They don't really factor into the rankings, but they're here on campus, either transferred in one way or the other from either a 4-year school or another 2-year school and have been in the program. So 7 guys that we got listed, just so you have an idea of who they are already working with us and have been with us all year. There's 5 guys that we signed in December that will also be able to go through spring ball. So really the remainder of the class is what you saw, the bulk of those signed today, all of which will join the program in June, in July, and on into August. So it's a very unique class, kind of like a year ago. It's pieced together from 3 different kind of strategies, all to fit major needs on the O-line, back end area and the safety area mainly, and then obviously the best D-line in the league wins. And we've been fortunate enough to have that in the last couple of years, and we need to continue that trend, and we did a good job there again. I was really proud. We got a couple, what I think, 3 really good players here in the state. We continually want to start here at home. The more we move forward, as we are able to stabilize the roster, sign more high school guys, I think the more we'll be able to concentrate really starting here at home. I'm proud of all 3 guys we got coming. We've already made 14 offers in the state for next year already, just in the first couple days of really watching film and reevaluating guys we already knew about, and I would think that number might go up. But it looks to be a good year in the state, and so we want to continue that. I'm just excited about the guys we've got in this class. So, other than that, just any questions you got, I'd be glad to answer about the class.
You mentioned the in-state guys, and you and I have talked about this previously about Jonathan Adams. Think maybe the best player in the state. Almost a steal for you guys. Well,
it is a steal in my opinion. I feel like he's one of those guys who are really underappreciated in the recruiting process. Don't know why. I would like to think we'd have ended up with him anyway. I think we were a natural fit for him with just the legacy and tradition of his family and being here close to home and the relationships I think we've built with him and the staff there at the high school. But I think he's the best athlete in the state, best all-around athlete in the state, and we're lucky to get him. He fits what we do. Offensively, it's a great fit for him. But I would just say that whether it's because where he played and maybe that not that many people look this direction, I don't know. I just think he's a lot better player than he is on paper right now, and we're happy to have him. I think the other two guys in the state with Hunter, Morton coming to continuing the Morton family legacy. Tank was a great teammate for us. Hunter will be on the other side of the ball playing D-line. Had him in camp, did a great job. And then just to get a good quality young man here in town that turned down some Division II offers to come and be a preferred member of our team with Jennings Stanley and his family history, to me that's great for the community as well. So, like I said, we want to continue to add that number, but I'm excited about all three that we got coming.
What was the philosophy you were looking for in offensive line? It seemed like you've gone bigger and stronger and maybe more powerful.
Well, our guys that we've had the last 3 years have done a good job, but we felt like there was a lot of times that we were really kind of had to be a finesse team, weren't really built for the power type football. And when I say power, not so much the scheme as much as just being downhill and being physical. It's tend to be an issue inside the score zone when we run out of space. It's tended to be an issue on third and short areas when everybody in the stadium knows we're going to run and we have to run. And we just felt like that we could target a little bit more size, a little bit more length. And I thought the staff did a great job of that. And then we were able to close out some guys in some very, heavily recruited, heavily competitive recruiting battles. I think the other thing that was really good about it is that we're not heavy loaded in any particular class. J.P. Philpott will come in as a fifth-year transfer. He turned down South Florida and East Carolina to come play his final season for us, having left Iowa State. You've got Marvis and Nordine and Chase Johnson, all that'll have 2 years to play. That rounds out that class. And then behind them, you've got Dalton Fords and Cam Davis's guys that are already on the team. Jacob Steele's, Nips, Elliott that are in another, and then the three monsters that we signed here in Dutton, Dwayne Fisher, and Andre Harris. 330, 340, 340 with length. So we built a roster of 15 or 16 old linemen, which is what we have to have at this level to be competitive. But we've also spread it out where we can mold it, we can develop it, and that we don't have 7 guys walking out of the room at one time, which is almost impossible to recover from. The fact that we did it is and it wasn't through one class. I think we did it through last year's class in some ways, in this year's class, and I think we're still probably one more class away from truly stabilizing that room, but this is a huge step. There's 9 guys, and they're all quality players, and they all help us.
Who are guys that you expect to help immediately, or guys that you can count on?
Honestly, all of them. And I know it sounds I just don't want to put anybody in a corner. Obviously, any veteran guy, any 2-year guy or 1-year guy that we brought in, we always take the approach that if we don't feel like they can come in and compete as a starter, we would rather go with a high school player. In every case, we don't ever recruit 1-year or 2-year players with the intent of being a backup. So every one of those guys is recruited under the premise that they are better than what's on campus physically and should be a starter. Now, you take Troy Elliott this year for example. There was some veteran guys that he passed up during the practice phase and got on the field. So I always leave room for a young guy that comes in that performs at a fast rate, learns at a fast rate, and can play. So every one of them have an opportunity, every single one. I think just look at the paper, the veteran guys we expect, they've got to be key factors day one when they get here.
Covert's an interesting situation. He was basically, I guess it was called rules detrimental to the team.
Yeah,
dismissed. How much homework did you do on him? And based on what you guys had gone through with guys leaving a team, and you gave the speech, hey, who's on board, and then you go on that winning streak.
Yeah.
How hesitant were you to take somebody that might have had, that has a past like that, and what was the whole process like?
Well, for one, we've all had a past, and if none of us given a second chance, I wouldn't be sitting here. So I kind of take my background and all the things and my learning, and we were extremely honest with him of what we expected. We knew, we had a good bit of information based off of his past, and we were really critical and very blunt with what the expectation level would be. One thing is I love our culture here, and I truly believe that to be able to come back from 0-4 to do what we've done, to come back from 1-3 to do what we've done, the culture obviously is strong, and he's going to have to adapt to that culture. But we did our homework. We talked to everybody involved. Sometimes guys just need a fresh start. Either personalities don't mix. He did not get himself in a lot of trouble. It was more of a personality issue than anything, and so felt like that he's had a chance to learn from it. He's got a definite desire to play at the next level. He has the frame and the ability to do so, and this is an opportunity for him to do that. We have a need. He sees that need. He has a desire to win a championship too, and he saw us as that option as opposed to the other schools, both East Carolina, South Florida, and several others that called him. And he's got a very business-like attitude towards why we're the best fit, and he also has a very real understanding of what I expect. And I'm going to hold him to a really high standard. He's going to be expected to come in and be an example of doing the right things, not a guy that I have to motivate.
Kind of the same question, I guess, with Darian Jackson. Just what kind of research went into that and the whole process with him?
My research was really short and sweet. I wanted to find out if he was a good enough player to play at this level, and it took about 5 minutes to figure out that he was. Then obviously I knew that there was a history, and so what I did was I called Terry. I gave him all the information that I could, gave him all the contact information of everybody involved, both at Boise, at the junior college he was at, anybody, and I turned the vetting process over to Terry, Chuck Welch, and our legal team, and they did a very thorough, very detailed research, and the phone call came back to me. We're satisfied, and we think he's a kid that deserves the opportunity. You can offer him and recruit him, and at that point, we've never talked about it again. It's out of my hands. If they'd have told me I couldn't recruit him, I wouldn't have. And so we've been really, really open with them. They've been open with us, and all the people involved have been transparent, and we're excited to have him. He's a great football player, been around the family, loved the family. I think you learn something from every situation you're in, Kevin, and I think he did too, but he's done what he's supposed to get the opportunity. And we've had kids come in before with that kind of opportunity and do great, and I think he's noticed that too. So he's a really, really good football player. He's going to help us. He's got 3 years left to play, which is huge for us in the back end. And to me, we're excited to get him here in June.
You mentioned the offensive linemen. I know you mentioned Chase Johnson as a guy you want to come in to play center. What about as far as position-wise, the rest of these guys?
I think you look at guys just by frame, and you can see some spots, but it's hard to say until we get them all working together. Leonard Bonner has been working at the left side, could play inside or outside. We think, JP will be either a left guard, left tackle, more than likely. He and Leonard Bonner have a great opportunity to work next to each other. That'd be a massive left side. Chase is working at center now, and he's on campus. Marvis Brown has played guard and tackle. He was an All-American at Tyler, played tackle, but maybe best suited in the NFL at the next level as an inside guy. And then you've got a guy like Nordine Sednali that's 6'5.5" with range. You plug those guys in with what we've got on campus, like we said, with some young guys like Troy Elliott, who played really well, some young guys. I mean, it's hard to plug them in. You can kind of see it. I think the good thing is there's a lot of versatility. Several of those guys have played inside and out. I think the biggest question is going to be right and left side, not so much inside or out. And that's going to be something, as we had to in the past, we're going to have to find those questions. We're going to have to answer those questions really early and probably answer some of those in the summer through a lot of their drill work. We can't wait and let that happen, way deep into fall camp with the kind of schedule we got starting out.
In your career, have you been in a situation where an entire offensive line is kind of had to be
No, I've never. I mean, we've had 3 or 4 guys graduate at a time, but to have 7 leave at one time due to graduation, that's kind of unheard of. It wasn't planned. We just have to overcome it as best we can. And like I said, I think we've done a really good job of not just replacing those guys, but also doing it in a way it's not going to create an immediate problem. I mean, we're going to have a guy leave, 2 guys leave, 3 guys. Those are doable. You can do that on a yearly basis. Recruit 2, 3 guys, quality guys at a position. To go out and get 7, 8, 9 guys at a position in a year span, and to bring in the quality. I mean, you talk about a grand slam. It's a great job by our staff of identifying these guys.
With this offensive line, what are some of their personalities? We knew what we got with Mondi and Jamar Clark. Who are some of these guys that might be the leaders?
There's some great personalities in the group. Chase is already on campus now. He's pretty quiet, to be honest with you. He's kind of all serious. So you've got your worker, but you guys are going to enjoy some of the personalities with a guy like Andre Harris, who is 344 pounds and calls himself the biggest point guard in the country. All you can do is watch social media. He was dunking a basketball the other night at 344 pounds. My man Marvis Brown, he and his family ate a 42-inch pizza the other night. Yeah, 42-inch pizza is bigger than most of our kitchen tables. And he said they almost made it in the time allotted. Just huge smile. JP's a man. He's a grown man, got 1 year left, and came in and immediately the young guys just gravitated towards him. Big Dwayne Fisher. I mean, he's I don't know what they got him listed at. He was 6'5", 342 pounds when he was here, and he's a strong enough personality to tell the Hogs no when they called him after he left here and they offered him on Monday. So there's some characters in the group. They've already begun to talk and hang out on social media and really become friends before they even get to campus.
It's a lot of beef on that line.
Absolutely.
Is that something too that you were looking to maybe get a little heavier?
Yeah, we wanted to try to. We feel like that in our weight room and with Shadid, that we really have the ability to maintain and trim a guy down even more than we have to put on 20 or 30 pounds. We just felt like that's something we're able to do. Take guys that are big and continue to trim them up and continue to develop athletically. And it gives us a chance for those guys to come in and compete right now. And really, when you looked at them at guys that were smaller, maybe 20 or 30 pounds smaller, you didn't see a big drop-off in the ability, or athletic ability, or ability to get up and off the ground, to pull, to run in space. I mean, why not take a guy that's 330, 340 if he can move just as good as a guy at 260, 270? I think it comes back to finding them, identifying them, and then closing them out. And all of them were recruited. I mean, it was competitive in every area, and to close out on that many guys is a big lick for us.
Any last-second scares today? Any nerves?
This morning honestly went off without a hitch. I mean, I was scared anyway. I didn't sleep a whole lot last night. But in terms of the way the morning went, we were done with letters of intent with the exception of one by 7:28, I think. I looked at my watch, 7:28 in the morning. We were waiting on one letter of intent, and it was coming from California anyway with Mike Johnson. His hit at 9:15, 9:16, which for him was 7:16. So really this morning there was not a scare. There wasn't a deal where we were battling back and forth with somebody today. I think those battles have been done over the week. TCU came at Josh Curry, and he didn't take the visit. Like I said, Dwayne Fisher had a couple phone calls, one of those being Arkansas, who he was originally committed to last spring. Southern Miss, Marshall, even Mississippi State coming in, and Wake Forest coming in on a kid like Caleb Bonner. And those are things you expect. Luckily, we were able to say no to those guys. They didn't go all the way down to the wire. We weren't still battling. Now, we were still battling on a couple of guys that we were trying to flip and close our way, and we battled on two kids that ended up going to Power 5 programs that were still on the phone with us this morning. They talked to us last night. I think Troop and I were here till about midnight on the phone with two young men. They called us again this morning. We talked again this morning, and we ultimately ended up losing both those guys. But we were in the battles down the stretch. Either would have been big hits for us. At the end of the day, if you're going to be in those fights, there's going to be a few that come down the end. You're going to lose a couple, but we won a lot more than we lost.
You mentioned Michael Johnson. You also got Jeffrey Gibson, a couple of good-sized safeties with speed. I know that was another area of need as well.
Well, it is, and you look, Jeffrey and Mike are both 2-year guys. You got Darian, who's a 3-year guy, and then you got kind of a good group of young talent to develop in guys like Larry Wooden, Zach Thomas in the back. Chad, we're not real sure if he's a safety or a corner, and then the guys that we have on campus. But I thought it was really big. Number one, all three of those veteran guys are quality players. Jeffrey Gibson started his career at Clemson. I think we've talked to them and him both. I think if all had it to do over again, Jeffrey would still be playing for Clemson. immature decision to leave. Probably wouldn't have left now. Happy to be getting a second chance. Michael Johnson ran their entire back end. Coaches, one of the coaches there actually played for Coach Cawthon. They love him. Made every call, most competitive dude he's had. You watch the video, the guy can fly. He's 6 foot plus. And then Darian can play for anybody. I mean, he's a Pac-12, Big 12 caliber player. And we're lucky. And to have 2 for 2, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, I mean, it even makes it even better to, again, stagger those classes so we're not losing the entire back end at one time like we're going through now with losing Cody, Chris, Money, and Bo Cinnamore, basically all 4 at the same time.
Do you feel you have some ball hawks like where you were a couple years ago, maybe put more points on board on the defense?
Oh, I'd love it for the defense to score more points. Yeah, I mean, I like what we got in the back end. I do. I think, Caleb Bonner, they're all length. You're talking about 6 foot plus guys in the back end. A.J. Catano at corner, just super, super competitive. Plays. He's one of those guys just hates to lose any drill. You watch him in one-on-ones. I mean, they all fit that back end, the kind of mentality you want to have. It all starts up front, though. I mean, when we have pressure, you got Bingham, an All-American, who turned down Colorado to sign with us in December. That's here right now working. You got to fit in with the group we already got. Curry and Tony Adams. Tony Adams is underneath the bar with 550 on it the other day. Did 3 squats of 550. It wasn't even near close to being done. I mean, another big, powerful 300-pound plus guy on the nose guard. It starts up front and it works its way back. But I love the athletic ability in the back end, and all those guys love to attack the football. So I think we did well.
Is that something you want to do, is go taller or bigger like on that?
I think length is important. You're just able to cover more ground. We're always looking for speed, but if we can get the same speed from a 6'1" guy than we can from a 5'8", just the wingspan alone just covers more space. I think as we continue to develop in our areas and have better contacts, and obviously as guys see us more and more, I think this was the year we were able to get more length in those skill spots than maybe we've been in the past. Where we've been recruiting guys that were 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", seemed like the battles became 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". Same kind of speed, same kind of feet, same kind of hips, but now with more length. And I mean, you just look up and we're covering a lot more grass that way.
No running back in this class, is it just by design?
Really just by numbers, pure numbers. We didn't graduate anybody. We were already at our allotted number. It was such a critical need to do what we did on O-line. We will be recruiting a running back in next year's class. We'll virtually be recruiting at least 1 or more players at every position moving forward. This was just a very unique year in that we were limited on numbers because of what we'd had to do through blue shirts and gray shirts in the past, our roster size, how many we graduated. There was no way to replace how many we graduated with the amount of spots we had. Running back just had to be one of those spots we didn't take a tight end because what we have on the roster we can play with. We will recruit both those spots moving forward. I'd like to think that we're going to get an extra year back for Wayway. We'd love to think that this year would be a medical. We're working on that, and that would put you in a position where you only lose 1 senior this next year being Silky. Everybody else would still be back. So we'd kind of be trying to replace that 1 spot for the most part.
What position possibilities for Zach Thomas? You got it listed as an athlete.
Really endless. I think in our mind we think of him as probably a DB, either a corner or maybe a field safety, but he's obviously really good with the ball in his hands. Zach's one of those guys that there's a possibility he ends up in a junior college. He's still working on some academics, but we wanted to be part of that process. If he happens to make it, he makes us better. If you've watched the tape, he's dynamic. But he's got the length to play corner or safety, and I think the feet and the speed to do both, and could very easily be a wideout just because he's really good with the ball in his hands.
You're talking about Wayway. What about Turnage?
Turnage, he'll be back. He's got 2 more years anyway. Turnage is one of those guys that counts into this class. He's counted in this class. He showed up in August with 3 years to play. Don't know if he'll get another one back, but he still has 2 left to play for us anyway. Both are doing great in rehab, so we'll have him for 2 more years regardless. Would like to think we might get that year back and have him for 3. But he counts in this class in terms of body. Obviously in rankings he doesn't, but he's a quality player, and we've already got him. He's already been training with us since August. To me, that's the plus. Anybody that's every month, every day there with Shadid, we get better. He's that true dual threat guy and a great leader. More than anything, I think when you talk quarterback, you talk the it factor, the intangibles. And it takes literally no time to be around him in a room, in an environment with the players around him. Immediate respect. He is the leader. He's the alpha dog in the room. He's highly, highly competitive, loves to play. Doesn't matter what we're playing, he wants to win it. And he's a little bit raw in some areas, but he's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. He can move from the pocket. He can make all the throws, and he just loves the game. Very knowledgeable. I'm looking for, and we always talk, we want to find the guy that when he walks in a room, man, everybody just automatically follows him. That's going to be your quarterback. We'll develop the skills, but he's got the traits: run, throw, in and out of the pocket, throw on the run, throw from the pocket. He's got all the traits you need, but he's got the thing that's hard to coach: leadership and competitiveness. That's what we're looking for. He'll be able to come in and compete day one. We're only going to have 3 scholarship quarterbacks in the roster this year. Carson Coates will be the number 4. We felt like he's done such a good job developing already that he could very easily be a 2 or a 3. He'll compete for the job. As far as he's concerned, he's going to be our next starting quarterback, and that may very well happen. But we're going to go without a 4th quarterback on scholarship for 1 year. We'll recruit one next year to even out that class.
Who's your biggest recruiter out of all these guys? I know every year there's somebody that gets
Recruiter?
on the phone, right, gets on the phone, gets on Twitter, hits up other guys.
Honestly, it was a group effort. Everybody's involved. Every kid that's there had an area coach, a position coach, a coordinator, and a head coach minimum. And almost every one of them, they were doubled up with somebody else. We recruit as a group. We had an issue this year where Dan Dodd takes another job, and he's the lead recruiter on Dwayne Fisher and Alden Clark because it's his area. But you didn't see anything change because the area coach, the position coach, the coordinator, the head coach, myself, and several other guys on staff had personal relationships with those kids too. We never put a guy out there on his own. They're always going to be team recruited. And it pays dividends in the end. Whether you lose a coach or other people come in, you never know who they're going to hit it off with the most. It may not be the guy that is normally their typical recruiter. It may be somebody else, either a family connection, something in their background, somebody they know, or just personalities. And so it's all hands on deck. We watch every kid together, we make decisions together, and then we recruit together.
Oh, I was meaning which one of the guys that signed.
Oh, for us?
Right.
I don't know. Andre Harris seems to be a pretty good recruiter. So does Alden Clark, to be honest with you. Those 2 guys would be the ones that stand out most to me, that reached out to other guys. And Alden's just normal. He's just a natural leader anyway. Y'all haven't met Andre Harris yet, but you will. You'll think back. I remember what Coach was saying. The dude just walks in. Number one, he barely gets through the door. He's 344 on a good day. Depends on if he had a Twinkie or not for a snack. And then his smile lights up the room. It's huge. If you haven't yet, you got to follow him on Twitter. You got to go on and see him, the biggest point guard in the country, crossing people over and dunking the basketball. They won by 50 last night. He scored 2, but the whole gym erupted when he scored his 2 points. He sent me a video just in case I didn't see it.
You mentioned at the start a lot of these guys wouldn't factor into the recruiting rankings. Do you look at pay much attention to that stuff?
I look at who raises the trophy come next season when it's over. That's it. That's all that matters. If you ever, in my opinion, start looking at stars and rankings, you are focused on the wrong thing. Watch the Super Bowl. There's going to be 2 stars and no stars all over the place. And people, we can't think that way. I don't even want to know. I want to watch. I don't want to know who offered them. I want to watch them. I want to evaluate them, make our decision. Somebody will tell me later. It does not matter. And we got to find the right kids for the right needs. And that's exactly what this class is. I guess we'll find out 3 or 4 years from now whether or not it's a championship level roster because, a lot of these teams in the country, you won't know. We're going to have some immediate impact, so we'll know real quickly whether or not we recruited the right dudes or not because a lot of these guys got to come in and play day one.
Chris Odom wasn't on anybody's radar. Came out of nowhere.
No.
Waylon Roberson, you've told me several times, he made Odom better. Who in this class might, from maybe the JUCOs, that might come in and make somebody like a Chris Odom type even better and kind of be now on our radar?
Well, the guys that are here right now, it's been obvious that, like I said, Tony Adams is a weight room guy. I mean, he's at every bit of 300 and probably 30, 40 pounds right now, but he's a worker. Bingham comes in with a tremendous motor. Raheem Bingham, the defensive end, an All-American at that level. Chase Johnson, you don't sign a center unless you know he's a worker. Those guys have already made an immediate impact. Day one. I think Leonard Bonner, who came in came in August and then redshirted for us this season, the way he was able to go down and give our defense, I mean, he was a guy blocking Odom and Javon every day. Might very well be our best offensive lineman. Could have possibly started for us this year. I mean, that made those guys better just because he was willing to work against them every day. There's a bunch of those guys that have that opportunity. Darian Jackson strikes me as a guy that is serious about being a great football player. He was serious every minute of the time he was on campus. He's one of those guys that just you see it come out of him. He has the desire to be a great player. Those are what you're looking for in terms of work ethic and how they're going to approach the day-to-day. We'll find out about the rest of them. It's hard to tell until you get them on campus and see how they fit in when things get going.
Jonathan Adams, I have to bring on, I know you talked about him from the start, but his dad was a highly touted player out of this state. You mentioned as the best athlete. How high is his ceiling?
I think it's enormous. I really do. It's interesting to see if he's done growing. He's already 6'3", and 200 plus. He's playing two sports now. If and when he decides to maybe concentrate on one, does his body continue to fill out? Every time I see him, it seems like he got a little bit bigger, and that's with him running up and down the basketball court all the time. When he really, truly, is able to work the craft, the guy can elevate, jump as high as he wants to. He's got really, really strong hands at the point of attack. You very rarely see the ball raked out of his hands. If he goes up, gets his hands to it, he makes the play. My daughter's been cheering at the high school, so I've been able to see him play more than most people. Every game, just something else that I didn't expect. He can be as good as he wants to be.
Something that you just said, concentrate on one. Is there talk that
I've already been asked 3 times a day, can he play basketball? He can play basketball if he chooses to, would not have a problem with it at all. He and I laughed about it. He knows just how big of a time issue that would be. He knows just how tough that would be, but who knows? He might play. I wouldn't ask him not to. It'd be his decision. I truly believe he's a small basketball player. He's a big football player for the position, and he knows that. I think he'll be smart about what he decides to do moving forward. All of us enjoy basketball. It's whether or not he thinks it's something he wants to continue. Who knows?
You told me today that there's no intention of redshirting him. Is there an opportunity, if he works hard, that he could be an impact player right from the get-go?
Everybody on this list can be that guy. He's physically capable of that, yes. Now, that's a lot to be said because we got a talented group of wideouts, but I told him, do not expect to redshirt. Come in here with the attitude to play. If we end up redshirting you, that's a bonus. But you have to have, and I think a lot of freshmen make this mistake. They come in expecting to redshirt. Well, if you think you're going to redshirt, guess what? You're going to. If you expect to compete, it's easy to always go back and fall into a redshirt mode later, but there's a switch that you don't want to be dealing with. You've got to come in ready to compete day one. And I want them all to be thinking that way before they ever get to campus. It's one thing to turn it off. You don't turn that thing on midstream. You better be ready when you get here. Who else?
Everybody good?
Thanks, guys.